here. So we'll go ahead and get started. So if we go ahead and get everything up in here and running. All right, let's see where we're at here. Okay, hello. My name is Kevin Gilmore with the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office. I'm a meteorologist here. I'm going to go ahead and get started here with a live update on the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms a little bit later this afternoon into tonight. We have a lot to discuss, a little complication here and there when it comes to timing. We're going to kind of narrow down as much as we can and talk about all the threats associated with what might be possibly 2 rounds of severe weather a little bit later. So again, there's a lot of little details we need to discuss, talking about starting off with what's actually happening outside. So we'll go ahead and get started with it. So like I said, we'll go ahead and jump to what's going on right outside our window. This is what we got with our regional radar imagery. We got Louisiana on that bottom left there, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. And we see it's actually relatively calm out and about going on right now. There may be a couple of little scattered showers, but it's relatively calm, just mostly cloudy skies, if not overcast. And a little bit of a good southerly breeze going on right now, too. People may be noticing it's pretty breezy out there as well. So relatively quiet. However, we are going to have to start monitoring what looks to be some thunderstorm development that's just south of or just southwest of Vermilion Bay. Heading to the north, that'll be coming across coastal areas of southwest and southern Louisiana here, probably the next 30 minutes to an hour. These may be parading off towards the northeast or east or north-northeast here for the next couple of hours. So this may be our first little window of what we may be monitoring here in the next couple of hours going, especially as we go into the afternoon hours here. So you got southeast Louisiana there in the center. As you can see, like I just mentioned, it's relatively calm. There's your satellite imagery showing you, again, mostly cloudy to, if not, overcast skies. Again, relatively calm across the area, but we're just going to have to keep a really close eye on those already some early cellular development, or what we call just showers and thunderstorms developing across the Gulf Coast or the Gulf of Mexico region nearing the Gulf Coast. That'll be continuing off to the northeast here for the next several hours. So now that we went ahead and talked about what's going on across the area, we're going to now jump into the forecast and what we can expect here for the rest of the afternoon. And of course, we got to always start with the same pitch I do with pretty much most of my Facebook Lives here, discussing, can you find your location on a map? It's very important because I'm going to be showing you a series of graphs and maps that are going to be really discussing areas of where the severe weather threat could be, where we may be experiencing some severe weather later today. So just remember, know your location here. If you're aware of it, know what parish or county you're in, know the surrounding county or parish that you are in, and you'll be able to fully understand and comprehend all these next maps that I'm about to show you here. So surrounding our local area, what I just showed you, if I can go back, this is our National Weather Service area, what we call our county warning area, that serves southeast Louisiana, southwest Mississippi, and coastal Mississippi there. That's going to be southeast Mississippi. That's our area where we cover. But we're one of 122 National Weather Service offices across the United States. So if you're talking about southwest Louisiana, that's our friends to the west. That's National Weather Service Lake Charles, Jackson, Mississippi to our north, and you got National Weather Service Mobile to our east, serving Mobile and Pensacola area. So where we're going to be really honing in on is that green area, that's southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi, as we discuss the upcoming threats here coming up. First, starting off with what you've probably already seen is the convective outlook defining the risk of severe weather across that same area that I just showed you. Well, we're seeing that there is different layers or different levels of risk that should be across the area, going from a marginal risk across coastal southeast Louisiana, that's a 1 out of 5 risk, to a slight risk, which you see in yellow for a large majority of the central areas, mostly the I-10-12 corridor. And then there's an enhanced risk. That's a threat level 3 out of 5 for southwest Mississippi, including Macomb. So there's a little bit of a gradient as it comes to the risk of severe weather today. Definitely, we're going to be more honing in on the kind of central and northern areas. However, we don't want you to pay attention to that fine exact line. Don't say to yourself, oh, I'm on that line between the enhanced and slight risk, then I must be in a slight, or I must not have that much of an enhanced risk. Just be aware that the kind of takeaway here is that threat's going to be a little bit more to the north. There's going to be a greater risk to the north, less of a risk to the south today. And the risk that we're going to be talking about, the threats, damaging winds, some isolated tornadoes could be possible. Not expected to see a large hail issue, and then flooding rain, we'll get more into that as that's a risk as well. So how to read those maps, we talk about this too. Say, for example, you live in Poplarville, and then you see there you're in a slight risk, and then you go to the timing graphic, which I'll show you a little bit later too. That's how you kind of depict where you're at. So if I go back here and show you again, find your location. Like for example, I live in Slidell. That's a threat 2 out of 5 risk. So that kind of gives you the gauge of, okay, I'm not in the greatest risk area for today, but I'm not in that lower risk either. So I need to still be weather aware today. So be aware of that. Know your location, because by reading these maps, that's how you can help pinpoint the exact threat of what you may be expecting later today. And then we talk about the smaller scale. The smaller scale, why you need to know your location is because we could issue warnings for your location. So be aware of that. If you get a warning on your phone or any other way through your phone or through an app or anything like your weather radio, that's when you need to take action. So that's why your location is extremely important as well, even down to the warning scale. So we're going to take things a little bit different this go around. Usually we've been showing a timing graphic, but things have been a little bit complicated with this go around. So I'm going to show you something as a tool that we use as meteorologists, which is model guidance that goes through and do all the complicated dynamic equations that we don't have the time to do. They do the hard work for us by predicting what the radar will look like in the future, or in this case, just several hours in the future for the rest of today. So this is simulated radar reflectivity, just like the radar I showed you earlier. It's showing you what the radar might look like at a specific time. So there's going to be 2 areas we're going to be focusing on, beginning with that 12 to 3 p.m. time frame. So now we're talking about that afternoon through mid-afternoon time frame. What's the radar going to look like? Where's the severe weather? What's the risk? Well, we're going to have to watch what could be one area of scattered showers and storms developing. And as I just showed you on the radar earlier, there was already scattered showers and thunderstorms developing south of Vermilion Bay. So those could continue to parade northeast into our western and central areas within that time frame. There could be more widespread development as well towards this time frame as well. It might not just be those cells themselves, but there may be more of this scattered showers developing. So that's going to be our first round. And as we go ahead with time, now we're talking that 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. time frame. We may have to watch where those cells those showers and thunderstorms are going to be now crossing across the I-10-12 corridor, getting towards the northern areas. And these may by this time grow to become strong to severe, possibly even locally severe. And given the atmospheric shear and dynamics and the turning width we have at height, some of these may be producing tornadoes. So this time frame, around the early to mid part of the afternoons, where we may be watching the first storms becoming severe, which may require warnings, just depending. So we're going to have to watch this first area. And as we continue off through the rest of the afternoon into the evening, that area does shift a little bit more towards our north. And then we're going to have to watch a second area of development off towards our west. That's going to be across northern, central, and southwest Louisiana, with showers and thunderstorms developing along a cold front. That could be area 2 to watch. So there could be a distinct lull in some of this activity. Be aware of that. If this area 1 continues off towards the northeast, you see across southeast Louisiana, which is on the center of your map there, it's pretty much mostly dry. There may be some scattered showers around, but you're in the separation between those 2 areas. Because as we get to the 6 to 9 o'clock time frame, then the focus starts to shift on the activity approaching our western area, which could also have a round of severe weather with that. So we go a little bit further across. We're talking that 8 to 11 o'clock time frame. So around when you're going to bed, that's why it's going to be very important to have a safe, reliable way to receive warnings. So we have that line of storms coming in. It's going to be possibly disorganized. What we mean by disorganized is it may not be just a solid squall line. It'll be kind of like line segments along the line, and any of those segments have the potential to produce damaging straight line winds or a quick spin up tornado. That first area, the cells out ahead of it, kind of gets more towards like the coastal Mississippi area. And then again, we're kind of in between that time frame. And then as we go towards that 10 p.m. to now 1 a.m., so we're crossing towards midnight, that's when it gets across like the I-55 corridor. That's when most of like the greater area, like the greater New Orleans area, Slidell, up to Picayune, coastal Mississippi, you're experiencing that second round by that point. And then it continues off towards the east. But the problem is what we've been seeing recently is that there could be a potential slowdown of this line as it crosses I-55, or it continues off towards to the east of I-55. And as we get towards that 1 to 5 a.m. time frame, now we're looking after midnight, that area too could slow down. Now the severe weather risk may start to diminish, just we don't have really that sunshine and that energy that we usually get that lead to very strong to severe storms. That's the fuel these thunderstorms need. And since we're overnight, it's a little bit more, as we call, stable. We don't have a lot of that built-in instability. But that line could slow down. And if it slows down, that could be a problem. And that's where we could be seeing what we call training of thunderstorms, or just thunderstorms that kind of constantly travel over the same area over and over and dumps copious amounts of rainfall that could lead to severe weather. But by that 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. time frame, that's also where we're going to start to see an all clear east of I-55. Just be aware there could be some wiggle room. That's why you see that, this is a time range. We're not talking about specific times here because things could change as we go ahead. Again, talking about the storm total rainfall forecast, I know we've had a lot of questions about that. Overall, across the area, we're expecting generally 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. But as you see in that circle, that magenta circle there, that's where we could have two things possibly happen. Number one, if those showers and thunderstorms that we see on radar now continue to become more widespread this afternoon, then we get the line to progress over the area later. That could really add to the rainfall totals. And number two could be the fact that this line could slow down. So that area that you see it's circled in magenta, you could probably see more towards the higher end of that 1 to 3 inch range, more so 2 to 3 inch with locally higher amounts possible. Again, that's pretty much I-55 east is where we're focused there. So definitely some heavy rain and some flash flooding does remain a risk with this system. It just depends on the coverage we get with the cells earlier and if the line of storm slows down. So going back again, I'm going to backtrack it. I'm going to go through this a little bit faster this time. Talking about, again, 12 to 3, we're watching those cells develop across western and central areas. That continues to progress off to the northeast, becoming strong to locally severe. That 4 to 7 o'clock time frame is where we could see some of these cells more towards the northern part of the area, still producing the chance of severe weather. But we may see a little bit of a lull in the activity, but don't count on that. Just watch that area now towards our west. That continues to progress towards our area later this evening to early overnight hours, sweeping towards the east, getting around I-55, that 10 to 11 o'clock time frame, and reaching the greater New Orleans area, that 10 to 1 a.m. time frame. And then that line could slow down, leading to what could be a flash flood risk for at least central and eastern parts of the area. And that's why we got that concern for some of the localized flash flooding. Always have multiple ways to get warnings. If you do get a warning, we want you to take action. You can use the internet, Twitter, Facebook. We're on social media. Wireless emergency alerts. Make sure the alerts are turned on your phone. You can never go wrong with a NOAA weather radio. Just make sure you have backup batteries that are fresh in case you lose power. And please communicate to your family, friends, and coworkers. Spread the word. Let them know. Be weather aware today. It's a kind of a 2 to a 3 out of 5 risk for most of the area. So again, just keep, let them know. Follow us on social media if they have social media. If they don't, show them the graphics we've been showing. Show them this video. This video will be posted on YouTube later. That'll help get the word across. And of course, we can't forget our a wonderful broadcast meteorologist out there doing such great work, help spreading the message as well for potential severe weather. So be sure to follow your local news source for your latest information with severe weather. Wireless emergency alerts, like I just mentioned, make sure they're always turned on. They're there to save lives. We're not there to annoy you. We're there to inform you that there is a risk of a tornado or flash flooding that could lead you to have to take action. So also this is the last slide here. I wanted to really throw this in here and get the point across. I get this question a lot in spotter talks and a lot from the public in general about where do you go if you don't have a basement, which a lot of local areas down here just don't. We always say those 4 key things there. Always, if you're in a home, go to the small room, lowest floor. So that's going to be small room. That's like a closet, a bathroom. Lowest floor, go to the lowest floor of your house, not second story, but lowest floor. Near the center, get to the center as close to the center as possible. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And stay away from windows, because if high winds destroy windows, they become flying projectiles and could injure you. So if you have a mobile home, that's something you need to have a plan ahead of time to go to a solid foundation home, like a neighbor nearby, like a brick home or anything that's more solid foundation, so that you can go to them as soon as you get the warning. We don't want you to stay in a mobile home because they do withstand a lot of damage and high winds and tornadoes as well. So going back here, just kind of summarizing what we've talked about here, looks like we're doing pretty good on time. We're going to have to watch what could be 2 rounds of severe weather later today. And I would say too, as I'm talking, I'm looking at radar. We're already getting some showers around, getting closer towards the North Shore. So we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on how this activity is going to materialize over the next several hours. We're going to be frequently posting updates on social media. That's on our Twitter and our Facebook, keeping you updated with the latest. And we'll pass along any warning information if we go under a watch, anything like that. We will be sure to keep you posted. So again, just have that reliable way to receive warnings all throughout the day. That's what we mean by stay weather aware. Don't be oblivious. Don't go out traveling. Just have something reliable to have the access to it. Use your phone, something on you in case you're under a warning. And of course, if you encounter flooded roadways, please do not cross them. We don't want to put your life and those to come rescue you's life in danger. So just again, watch how things materialize later today. The storms will be long gone and we'll see improving conditions during the day tomorrow. So we'll go ahead and end it there. Appreciate you joining. We'll keep you posted on the latest and take care. Like I say, stay weather aware and we'll catch you next time.